How's it going, you guys? It's been a little while. I mostly just kind of want to hang out and have a little chat, but the central thread of this video, I suppose, will be these new inverted kingpin thunders. Where it gets a little different here is obviously this kingpin, and it's quite low. So it's two-piece washer and a kingpin. Inside, it's got the nut here. So you're going to need a different skate tool if you decide to skate these trucks, because there's no way, unlike the Indy one, there's no way to use a conventional skate key on it. So it's got an Allen key right here, and it actually has a hollow kingpin. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe it just made sense to do that. But you'll need this part from the Spitfire skate tool. It goes in here. And it's threaded a long way in. So as you can see, the nut doesn't appear to want to come out, right? I can't get it. Oh, the skateboard's rolling away there. I can't just like pop this thing out. So I don't know exactly how it's threaded on or what's holding it there, but it is fixed in place. And we can see there's like a little steel part in here that's holding everything together as well. As for the base plate design, they mentioned the rounded corners. So if you look at the traditional one, it's very square edged, and they rounded over the corners a little bit. And that's to help it not catch so much. And if you can't tell, I'm talking about these ones. This looks about the same. And it's the same length, so they did not increase the base plate length, contrary to what a lot of people would have loved them to have done. As much as I love a nice base plate to slide on a ledge that's kind of smooth, it really helps reduce the friction from the wheels on the edge of the ledge. I do find that if the ledge is pretty crusty, that base plate can just get in the way. However, even on my ledge in the tennis court, when I'm trying frontside noses, even the short base plate on the Thunders is kind of catching. So I'm interested to find out if this rounded design will make it a little bit easier. As much as I'd love to say switching gear is going to help me a lot, I think it's operator error more than anything else. So the deck I'm skating, well, is basically exactly the same as what I was riding. It's 825 with bluntish kicks. You guys know I was on the Easy Rider one that had a 14-inch wheelbase. This is just a test board that has a 14.25 wheelbase. And I was so comfy on that other setup that I was really resistant to trying this one, but that's why I'm on Thunders right now currently, is because once I put the 14.25 wheelbase on, I was like, I gotta change it up, because ventures just feel too long for me on that. So that's why I'm on Thunders. So this is just a standard 144 that I found some silver hardware for and put black bushings to give it that old Thunder T4 look that I remember growing up in the 90s. And I honestly can't bear the thought of breaking in new bushings right now. And I also don't feel like having no grooves on my trucks. So what we are going to do is actually swap my hangers over. So that will go there. And how's this gonna work? That will go there. It's a little bit harder to put back together. Oh, but I forgot something. I forgot to put a little bit of wax in the new pivot cups. I always put wax in pivot cups because it really helps reduce the squeaking. It doesn't take much. Like, that's probably too much, but it doesn't have to be shavings or all broken up. I just mash a chunk in there and it comes out as you skate it. This is definitely a little harder than a conventional skate tool, but I guess it's the price you have to pay. The other thing is I can't tell how tight my trucks are when I've got a couple threads sticking out at the bottom. I have no idea if that's like a couple threads on a normal truck. I'm looking forward to ripping around on these trucks a little bit. But overall, this is gonna be the exact same setup that I've been riding. Still on the 52mm classics. And I've been finding that Thunders have been a really nice middle ground between Ventures and Indies, because they have a little bit more turn, but they definitely feel more stable than Indies. I've also been finding that having my wheelbase a little longer overall feels good. However, my Chronic 340 flips are back. I don't know what I could do about that other than having like probably a dramatically shorter tail would help my 360 flips, because I seem to need my board to go up a lot like that. But that wouldn't work for all the other tricks, right? Less tail for slides, and then just a lot of other things. It would just hit too late and it would make it really ghost poppy. So you guys want to hear something crazy? I found this parallel between trowels and skateboards, and I love that there's something similar between the two things that I do. On a trowel, this part, the spine, see on this one, it's about 1.25 inches, and on this one, it's about 1 inch. So a big difference. This is totally like a short wheelbase trowel, and this is like a long wheelbase trowel. And I like a medium to short wheelbase trowel. Also, this one's 4.5 inches wide, and this one's 5 inches wide. I like a wider trowel with a shorter wheelbase. Sorry guys, I think it's just really funny. And then you can even get into handle height, because I tend to like trowels where the handle is lower because I'm closer to the business end of the trowel, right? Like I'm closer to the work and I feel like I have more control. So a lower handle is like a lower truck. A wider trowel is like more control and less, you know, the way you have more landing room for your feet to land? Well, on a skinnier trowel, you're more likely to get your knuckles in the corners when you're pushing into the corner of the wall and pulling it. Also, when you start your spread of mud, a wider trowel is less likely to have it spill off the other side. So it's like there's all these weird parallels between trowels and skateboards. And I'm gonna make a video not comparing the parallels, but I'm gonna make a video talking about trowels on my other channel soon. Anyways, enough about that. I just thought it was kind of funny, the overlap. But yeah, so this is still the Easy Rider concave. I do love that concave. And what do we have here? A white graphic with orange underneath. We got some Jessup here, Jessup Ultra Grip. I'd say it's very comparable to Mob with less adhesion issues in the winter. This is what happens when you cut it with a really dull blade. Come on. No, I need that part. What a headache. There we go. There we go. I haven't gripped a board in a while. At the peak of the channel, I was gripping boards like every week, which is a lot for somebody who's not a professional skateboarder. Any more than one pass and you're just playing with it. That was probably the dadliest thing that's ever been said while gripping a skateboard. This is a sharp knife. When it's this sharp, you got to be careful not to cut the board. Also helps to put a little tension on it. And the reason I'm not doing that is because I'm trying to give you guys a good angle to film the grip tape cutting, but oh well. I never rub the sides down with grip tape, ever. I actually don't like that sort of white haze that it puts all around the edge. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could do one pass just to make sure it's stuck. Even that, I feel like if you did a good job gripping your board, there's no need. You can just kind of press it down with your hand like that. Sadly, I have only been skating about once or twice a week because I've been doing so much construction work. And so when I am skating, I'm nowhere near at the peak. I would say last summer was my peak for sure, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to hit another peak in your 40s. I'm very grateful for that. But I do need to just kind of move on with life stuff, right? You can skate every day if you have the time, that's awesome. But at the same time, there's probably things that you're neglecting, right? Like, how's your career? How's your relationships? How's your kids? Do you have kids? Do you have a career? Do you have relationships? Skateboarding is wonderful, but it should not come at the expense of experiencing the fullness of life. I firmly believe that. I didn't mean for that to sound so judgy. I'm truly grateful for the full experience that I've been given. But I recognize that, you know, for some people, all those things would stop them, maybe, from what their true purpose is. My true purpose is trying to get this little nut onto this tiny thing with my halfway crippled hands from 20 years of trades work. My gross motor skills are pretty good. My fine dexterity, my hands are kind of messed up from all the trade work. But let's be honest, probably breaking my arms 7 times didn't help either. And I recently tuned up my silver skate tool to make them work better. I'll show you guys what I did. It actually made a big difference because I find that the short nuts on the Shorty 7/8 Silverados can be really temperamental. Okay, if you look up close, you can see my skate tool has a really sharp and kind of polished edge here. But if you look at a new silver skate tool, this edge inside here has been rounded over. They've intentionally kind of rounded it off to give it a finished look in the factory. But that's why when you use 7/8 hardware, the short little hardware in this tool with the rounded over edges, it doesn't work. So what I did was I took it to this tool, this belt sander. It's a stationary belt sander. You could probably use like a regular belt sander too if you had it somewhere secure. And I just put this thing on here until I took it was maybe about 2 millimeters of material at most, maybe even just 1, but I took it off until I could see those edges were totally square, and now this thing barely slips ever at all. If it slips, it's because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, this is looking good. I'm looking forward to riding this. And the white is a nice change. The red, it was a bit intense for me at first. I got used to it and then I actually really started to like it, but it's definitely like, red has energy and it's a lot. And sometimes I'm just feeling a little more mellow than that. But before I get skating, I gotta try and hit these weights just a little bit. This is my incentive. This is my reward for putting in a little work first. Yeah, the 2 threads showing at the bottom is really loose, but I also still have all that wax coming out. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but yeah, that comes out first for a little bit. It makes your trucks extra loose. I am going to give each one of them a full twist. Let's see if that gets it a little closer to where I like it. I still like my trucks, I would say, at a solid medium tightness. Still too loose. I honestly think I could easily go one more full turn on the back truck and maybe about 3/4 of a turn on the front truck. Let's try that. Yeah, that feels good. Maybe a bit too tight, but a lot better. Okay, so far so good. I definitely have some feelings about them, but I don't feel like I can attribute any of it to the specific design of this truck. The feeble grinds felt really good with that kingpin clearance. I could feel it just barely touching. If you look at it, I think it's touching the washer more than the actual kingpin. And I can feel that I can just like kind of lock in to the feeble a little bit deeper, a little bit better. Like there's something that's helping my truck just get further onto it, which is the kingpin clearance, I think, right? It just feels like the wheel is somehow getting deeper on there. I can't explain it, but I can feel that that actually is an improvement over the regular Thunder. I am sort of having a different problem though, and that is that I feel like I can't get the trucks tight enough, and the combination of, I think, the hollow kingpin and me having to crank my trucks down so tight is making my board feel low and lighter. And when I had just like the regular 148s on here, I feel like I had the sort of Goldilocks pop zone for me. And right now it almost feels like I put on forged hollows or something, right? Like it's definitely feeling lower and lighter to me personally. You know, it's hard to determine though, like when you mess with your trucks like I did, where putting, you know, already broken in bushings in and new or older hangers, you can't really be sure what's what compared to like when you set up a brand new set of trucks and let them break in the way they should. In general though, they're operating, you know, more or less exactly as a Thunder 148 should. I don't know why I feel like I can feel the weight difference of the hollow kingpin. That's a pretty insubstantial amount, but for some reason, I feel like I'm noticing it. I think that's better. Well, I haven't landed one of those yet, but I also only stuck on the first one, and the rest of them are all slipping out, which is actually a dramatic improvement because I was catching and hanging up a lot when I was trying the regular Thunder base plate. It doesn't hit till you're about there. That's a pretty good dip. Whoa! Okay, you guys, it is time to debrief. There's a few things here that I want to look at. I guess first we should just look at the kingpin clearance and how much it was actually dragging on the kingpin from those grinds. So even with hangers that have a bit of a groove going, still very little, right? It's just barely tapping that kingpin, and that could have even been from when I was pushing it against the ledge. So the clearance really is awesome. The rounded over base plate, I think, is an improvement. However, anybody with a file or an angle grinder could actually do that to their own trucks really easily. I for sure think that that was an improvement. I was catching a lot less. So functionally, these are way better. Now, the problems that I was having is that to me, for whatever reason, they felt different. And it could just be that it's really hot today. Historically, I have had a lot of problems with thunder bushings in the summer. They just simply get way too loose for me. I can tell that I have these cranked so tight. Like tight to the point that my back truck feels lower than my front truck. You know, like my board almost feels like I'm riding like this, like a dog dragging its butt. We'll pull these trucks off and look to actually see how much more threads there are showing on the back truck. But yeah, it didn't matter how much I kept tightening this, I still felt a little unstable. Whoo-wee! So this is my back truck. There's the groove and the switch crook mark. And we can see that I have, I mean, I'm trying to focus in on that. That's like almost 5 threads showing. And here is obviously the front truck. And we have about 4 threads showing, about 4 threads. So this isn't the first time I've contended with this issue over the summer months. I mean, I could hear you already. Get some harder bushings in there. I've done that. So about 2 years ago, I rode Thunders from March until about October, September or October. And I went through the worst bushing madness. So I would get some of the harder Thunder bushings and I would try them like on only the bottom washer, on only the back truck, because I do like my back truck firmer than the front truck. And I mentioned that I don't like the feeling of my board being lower. Like I can feel that one thread more squished. So most people aren't gonna be able to notice this. This is a real, like you need to be a Princess and the Pea type skater to actually notice this difference. The vast majority of people are gonna be able to jump on these trucks and they're gonna get the improved slide from the base plate design. I'm not saying it's sliding better because there's more base plate again, but just if you were catching on any ledges because of those sharp corners, it's gonna be better. And really good kingpin clearance. Like it really is better. For those frontside feebles, I had full confidence that I was not gonna hang up. I have had some really bad experiences doing front feebles on flat bars with regular kingpin trucks when you land on the wrong side of it and you get your kingpin caught up and it just sends you onto your back. It's really unpleasant. Whereas on these, I even had one where I could tell I landed on the wrong side of the truck and I was able to slide it over to pinching on this wheel again. So I would say there's way more pros than cons. And again, I might just be going through Thunder summer bushing madness, right? So it might be that like it's getting too hot and I just need to switch to something like my old setup with the 14-inch wheelbase and the Ventures or who knows what, right? It's sad because these trucks were working perfectly when I had them just set up as the standards with the black bushings. But I know from experience that once you start mix matching your trucks all around and you try and get back to what you had, you never get back there. It's kind of crazy, right? Anyways, it's too bad. It was like feeling so perfect. Anyways, you guys, that's enough about skateboards. I got some potato harvesting to do because these plants are ready. Do you guys remember in one of my videos when I yelled at my cat to not poo in the potatoes? Well, here they are. They're ready. I never know exactly how to go about this. This is the third time I've harvested potatoes. Oh, it's so satisfying though. This one looks like it's starting to go a bit rotten. I probably almost left them in too long, but look at those. That's nice. We got some little ones and big ones. That was just one quick turn. Look at that. Look at all these little baby potatoes. All right, I'm gonna finish pulling these out of the ground. I'll show you guys the haul when I'm done. Definitely the most satisfying thing to harvest. So I want to be really clear that I'm no expert gardener. This is something I've only been doing for a few years. Whoop. And yeah, I could see myself doing this into my old age. I think when I
the body's getting older and I can't skate anymore, this is definitely going to be one of the things that I'm going to start doing. I'm trying to get in here without skewering them. And this thing is already cracked, so I have to bend carefully. But yeah, potatoes are one of the easiest things I've grown. Most rewarding because, like, you know, you just save half a bag of potatoes that have a bunch of the eyes growing in them, and you put them into the dirt, and a bunch of months later, it's like, I'd say it's like anywhere from a 5-to-1 to 10-to-1 return, right? It really helps you see the abundance that the earth can provide for us. When you see how with just a little bit of work, you can get so much from Mother Earth. Okay, that one's done. On to the next. Yeah, I've had good luck with these. I've had bad luck with cucumbers. Those are hard to grow. And it's cucumber season right now, so it's time for me to start going to the farm markets and start making pickles. As some of you guys know, I love to do that every year. I make homemade fermented pickles.
They're really good.
My daughter just yelled in the background, they're really good. I don't think any of you guys could hear that though. Hey, let me know in the comments if any of you guys do gardening, veggie gardening, or crops, or I don't know what you call it. I'm sure some of you are actually legitimate farmers. Not me. This is all new to me. Every year I learn a little bit, and then you have to wait the whole next year to apply that knowledge. Very different than something like skateboarding, where you go out every day and you have the possibility of learning something new every day. Very different. It's a whole different schedule. But it's very rewarding. I come out here and I eat every single day. I graze from the garden, and I love knowing that I'm like becoming part of the land. Like the nutrients in the soil form the plants, and then those plants, my body takes those nutrients and then it becomes part of me. I just love having that connection to the land, that you're actually a part of it, you know? I think there's like something deeply spiritual about that, connecting to the land in that way and being provided for by it. That I think anybody can appreciate that, no matter what your like religious or non-religious point of view is. I think you can appreciate becoming one with the land that you live on. I don't think that's like a divisive thing. I think we should all get that opportunity to be able to grow and eat. It just keeps giving. Ooh, one last pocket of big ones. That's not bad. That's a lot of potatoes. What do we got here? We got some beans just starting out. They're not bad. I seriously love arugula. An unreasonably large amount. Oh.
Arugula's like spicy lettuce.
I like black currants too. We had so many. This is my slug row housing. They love it in here. When I wash the lettuce, I'll get a few out of there, and then I wash it again to get the rest of them out of there, and then I wash it a third time to really make sure there's nothing in there, because they really hide in here. We got a bunch of these going nuts. That warm weather, blueberries, if you can't see, that warm weather just makes these things go crazy. What do I call it? A bumper crop, when it's like all ready at once. Slow start, and now it's just summer's here. I love blueberries. Grow tons of squashes, lots of different types. They grow really easy. They take over the entire place. Tons of Swiss chard. You know, the stuff that grows super easy, but that nobody actually really likes or wants to eat. This plot is my mother-in-law's. Don't tell her. She's got some tomatoes going. That was really good. I'm gonna be bad. Eat one more. We got some happy celery, kale, really happy tomato plants. Those are probably gonna be bursting with tomatoes, and of course, again, tons of squash. I know there's a cucumber hiding in here somewhere. That's a cucumber starting. I've just found them to be really temperamental and not had good luck with them. The first couple of years we had a lot of beans and peas, a little bit of cucumbers and tomatoes. Second year, not a very good year. I didn't put any fertilizer on it, meh. This year I put mushroom manure on the whole thing and everything seems to be doing pretty well. And other than that, I've done very little maintenance. It's looking like it's gonna be a lot of squash and tomatoes this year. That's good by me. So what does that have to do with the new Thunder inverted Kingpin trucks? Literally nothing, but it was a lot more satisfying to dig those potatoes up and eat all that food than it was to try new trucks that just gave me madness and made me frustrated. So maybe there is a lesson in there. I don't know. This was probably a long and rambly video. I don't know. Hope you guys are doing awesome. I guess I really just talked about trucks because I wanted an excuse to say hi. Hi. My knee's doing pretty well since I'm not skating very much. Feels great. My Achilles tendonitis is totally gone because I'm not skating very much. Feels great. I miss skating a lot, but I'm not in pain. And that's a pretty nice feeling. So maybe there's a happy medium. You know, maybe 2-3 days a week is enough. Anyways, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. See ya.